So I'm going back to Ruth 1, and I wanted to talk to you about Moab. Moab is an interesting situation. Moab is Lot's son with his oldest daughter. Lot, if you remember, is Abraham's nephew who left Ur of the Chaldees and came to Canaan with Abraham. Lot settled in the valley. Time goes by, and initially you see Lot pitched his tent. In Genesis, you'll see that Lot pitches his tent toward Sodom. And then Lot is in Sodom, and then Lot is in the gate of Sodom, and that progression is quite significant because before he is outside of Sodom and he ends up at the gate, which is like the court system where all decisions are made. Now he's invested fully in this place. He lives there with his family until one day Christ comes with two angels and visits Abraham, and he says, I have seen Sodom and Gomorrah, and they are so wicked, I am going to destroy them. And Abraham says, oh Lord, if there are 50 good people, 40, 30, 20, 10, if there are 10 good people, please don't destroy it. So the Lord says, okay, I'm going to go check it out, and if there are 10 good people, I won't destroy the city for their sakes. But he can't find 10 good people. He found Lot, and so the angels go down into Sodom, and they go and knock on Lot's house, and he invites them in. He doesn't really know that they're angels. While they're in there, all the people of the city that night, they come and they start pounding on the door, and they say, we saw those young, handsome, strapping men that were in there. We want them. We want you to give them to us so we can have our way with them. And Lot says, please don't do this. Then the angels kind of reveal themselves. They strike all the men with blindness, and they grab Lot and his wife and his two daughters, and they pull them out into the, drag them out into the plain, and they say, get out of here, run up to the mountains and run, because we're going to destroy this city, and we can't do anything until you're out of, the line of fire. So that happens, and Lot says, oh, let me go to this little city, and they say, okay, fine. Well, Lot goes to the little city, and then he sees all the fire and sulfur and raining down on the Sodom and Gomorrah, and he says, this is not safe to be this close to here. So he moves up into the mountains, and that's where we pick Lot up, and that's where Moab is born. What happens is that Lot's daughters get desperate. And this is really significant because I saw this happening to my daughter, and it was concerning. Not that she was desperate, going to do something crazy, but I could tell because I am a girl, and I know the desire that I had, that I wanted my own husband and my own family. I could see it growing in her, and you can see it if you go back in Genesis and read the story. You can see it in Lot's daughters. The older sister says to, oh, I forgot to say that Lot's wife, she got burned in the conflagration. But she became a pillar of salt. Bad ending to that story. Anyway, Lot's oldest daughter says to the younger one, look, we're up here on this mountain. Dad is grieving over mom. He's not doing anything to find us husbands. And there are no men on this mountain. There are no men in the plain because the Lord destroyed the entire plain, all the cities down there. There are no men on the planet. What are we going to do? We'll never have babies. And so they decide to make their father drunk and each take a turn sleeping with him so that they get pregnant. And that's exactly what happens. Now, the oldest daughter's son is Moab. Moab is the child, the incestuous child, of a desperate girl. A girl who felt, there are no guys available for me. Now, we know our daughters are not going to do crazy things like that. At least we hope not. Doesn't change the fact that that desperation in a woman is something that needs to be addressed. Lot could have addressed it. He should have addressed it. The girls should, they short-circuited in their brains. They were not thinking properly because Abraham was so close that he could see the smoke when Sodom and Gomorrah got burned. And Abraham himself had over 300 fighting men for those girls, to find a husband. But that desperation, when it hits a girl and it hits her hard, causes havoc in her thinking. And we cannot have our daughters feeling that way. So that is a huge lesson in the very beginning of this book of Ruth, when in verse 1 they say, and Naomi and the family went to Moab. So thank you for listening today. I hope this gives you a few things to think about, and have a good day.